Sulfur is the 16th element on the periodic table, with the atomic number 16. It belongs to group 16, also known as the chalcogens, alongside oxygen, selenium, and tellurium. Sulfur is a nonmetal known for its distinctive yellow color and its role in a wide range of natural and industrial processes. Unlike highly reactive metals, sulfur is relatively stable in its elemental form and is commonly found both as a pure element and in compound form across the Earth's crust. Sulfur has been known since ancient times. References to it appear in ancient texts from Egypt, Greece, China, and India, where it was often associated with fire and brimstone. The name sulfur is derived from Latin sulfurium, and in historical contexts, it was sometimes called brimstone. Early uses included medicine, fumigation, and even religious rituals. It wasn't until the development of modern chemistry that sulfur was fully understood as an element and its wide-ranging chemical behavior appreciated. Elemental sulfur occurs naturally near volcanic regions and hot springs, often deposited as a bright yellow solid. It also forms large underground deposits, particularly in sedimentary rocks. However, the majority of sulfur on Earth is found in compounds, especially sulfides and sulfates. Important sulfur-containing minerals include pyrite, iron sulfide, gypsum, calcium sulfate, and barite, barium sulfate. These serve as sources for industrial sulfur extraction. One of the major breakthroughs in sulfur production was the Frasch process, developed in the late 19th century. It allowed for the extraction of pure sulfur from underground deposits by injecting superheated water and air to melt and force the sulfur to the surface. Although now largely replaced by sulfur recovery from oil and gas refining, the Frasch process was a turning point in meeting industrial sulfur demand. Today, most commercial sulfur is recovered as a byproduct from petroleum refining and natural gas processing. Hydrogen sulfide gas, H2S, a toxic component of crude oil and natural gas, is converted into elemental sulfur through the Claus process. This shift has made sulfur one of the most abundant elements in industrial circulation. Elemental sulfur is a brittle solid at room temperature, with a distinct yellow color and a faint odor. It is not soluble in water but dissolves in some organic solvents. Sulfur has several allotropes, or different structural forms, with the most stable being the 8-membered ring structure known as cyclo-S8. When burned, sulfur produces sulfur dioxide, SO2, a pungent and irritating gas that plays a key role in industrial chemistry and environmental science. Sulfur has many important industrial applications. By far the largest use is in the production of sulfuric acid, H2SO4, one of the most heavily produced industrial chemicals in the world. Sulfuric acid is vital in the manufacture of fertilizers, particularly phosphate fertilizers, as well as in metal processing, battery acid, wastewater treatment, and chemical synthesis. The scale of sulfuric acid production is often considered a barometer of industrial activity in a country. Beyond fertilizers, sulfur compounds have wide applications. Sulfur dioxide is used as a preservative in food and wine, as well as in paper bleaching. Sulfites are used in food preservation and as antioxidants. Carbon disulfide, CS2, is used in the production of rayon and cellophane. Thiols, or mercaptans, organic compounds containing sulfur, are added to natural gas as odorants to detect leaks due to their strong smell. In agriculture, sulfur plays a dual role as both a plant nutrient and a pesticide. It is an essential macronutrient for plants, needed for protein synthesis and enzyme function. Crops absorb sulfur in the form of sulfate, SO42, and sulfur deficiency can lead to stunted growth and poor yield. Sulfur-containing fertilizers such as ammonium sulfate and gypsum help address this need. Elemental sulfur and sulfur-based compounds are also used as fungicides and insecticides, particularly in organic farming. In biological systems, sulfur is critical. It is one of the essential elements for life and is found in the amino acids cysteine and methionine, which are building blocks of proteins. Sulfur bridges, disulfide bonds between cysteine residues, help stabilize the three-dimensional structure of proteins, making them crucial for enzymes, hormones, and structural proteins. Sulfur is also a component of vitamins like biotin and thiamine, and cofactors involved in energy metabolism. Sulfur's role in animals and humans includes detoxification, antioxidant defense, and metabolism. The body uses sulfur to produce glutathione, one of its most important antioxidants. While most people get enough sulfur through their diet, Particularly from protein-rich foods, sulfur-based supplements and compounds like MSM-methylsulfonylmethane are sometimes marketed for joint health and inflammation relief. Environmentally, sulfur is a double-edged sword. On one hand, sulfur emissions, primarily in the form of sulfur dioxide from burning fossil fuels, are a major contributor to acid rain, which harms ecosystems, corrodes buildings, and acidifies water bodies. Regulations on sulfur emissions from power plants, ships, and vehicles have been tightened globally, leading to significant reductions in acid rain in many industrialized countries. On the other hand, sulfur aerosols in the atmosphere can have a cooling effect on the climate by reflecting sunlight. Some scientists have even proposed geoengineering strategies that involve injecting sulfur compounds into the stratosphere to mimic the cooling effects of volcanic eruptions. However, such proposals remain controversial due to potential unintended consequences. Sulfur has several niche but important technological applications as well. It is used in vulcanization, the chemical process that strengthens rubber by forming cross-links between polymer chains using sulfur. This makes rubber more durable and elastic, an essential step in tire manufacturing. Sulfur is also used in battery technology. Lithium-sulfur batteries are a promising alternative to lithium-ion batteries, potentially offering higher energy densities and lower cost, though they face challenges with stability and cycle life. Safety considerations with sulfur depend on its form. Elemental sulfur is generally non-toxic and safe to handle, but sulfur dust can pose a fire hazard in enclosed spaces. More hazardous are some sulfur compounds, especially hydrogen sulfide, which is highly toxic and can be lethal at high concentrations. Sulfur dioxide is also dangerous in high concentrations, particularly for people with respiratory issues. Proper handling, ventilation, and monitoring are essential in industries that deal with these compounds. In conclusion, sulfur is a fundamental element with wide-ranging impacts across nature, industry, health, and the environment. Its presence in proteins and soil nutrients makes it indispensable for life, while its role in industrial chemistry supports critical sectors from agriculture to manufacturing. Sulfur's dual nature, as both a life-sustaining element and a potential pollutant, highlights the importance of balanced, sustainable use. As innovation continues in energy storage, environmental science, and agriculture, sulfur's relevance is likely to grow, cementing its status as a key player on the periodic table and in modern life.